Well, good everyone, and welcome back to episode 10 of the Glass Cage podcast. I'm JH.
And I'm George.
And we have our first ever guest. We've got Henry on tonight.
G'day, thanks for having me on.
No worries. Now, for anyone who might live underneath a rock or doesn't watch the YouTube, Henry works for Tom's Brook Farm, and you have been since 2015, but on and off.
Yep.
So you came for a, harvest, wasn't it?
Yeah, came for a harvest with my brother and enjoyed it enough that I came back for a seeding the next year.
Well,
What a trap.
And now you're stuck here.
Yeah, just kept on coming back and now I'm stuck.
Yeah. So you're full time with us now since COVID, essentially. We got you just before the borders locked and
Yep.
Mark wouldn't let anyone in.
Yeah, got in just in time.
Rog, so what are we talking about tonight, George?
Oh, I guess we'll go over Henry's time here. Henry's time.
Well, that wasn't discussed. No, we're going to talk about the harvest tour. You know,
Yeah. I was leading into Henry's time here, then Henry's time in Canada, US.
And the US, yep.
So I guess may as well just launch straight into it.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe a bit of background from Henry of where he's come from and what you've done in farming-wise back in Kiwi.
Yep, no worries. So as you obviously know, I'm from New Zealand, from the Canterbury Plains, which a lot of people might know is quite healthy country for the cropping background. So I've been on or around farms my whole life pretty much.
Yep.
Apart from a short stint at uni, but like you, JH, I didn't finish.
Well, that's good. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
What did you start though?
I started music composition, so leads nicely into driving machinery.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, obviously was my thing. So then I I actually had my first harvest gig over here in South Australia. So I did a harvest over there before coming over to WA.
Yep.
But yeah, so a little bit of farming background at home as well. While I've been back and forth between countries, I harvest back home as well with my father. He works on a cropping farm in mid Canterbury.
Yep.
So yeah,
Is Canterbury people don't.
The shorts.
Yeah, the shorts. South Island.
Yes, South Island. Yep.
Yeah. And very, very successful cropping area.
Yes. Well, the
World record.
current wheat record is about 25 minutes away from where my father farms at the moment.
Yep.
So yeah,
That's pretty good.
pretty handy.
Then you
soil.
come to our yields.
Yeah, slightly different farming.
Bit of a culture shock.
Very much so. Yeah, so obviously over there you're not very far from town wherever you are. So coming out here, being over 100 k's away from civilization, it's
I
different.
like to think that we're fairly civilised.
yeah.
Are we?
I like to think
It can
that,
get pretty rowdy down at the Casbah.
It can do.
Yes, yeah.
Pretty uncivilized.
Responsibly.
Of course.
Yeah.
So one of the things we do want to really go into is you have done the actual harvest tour in America and Canada. Now, I know that's a big thing. A lot of kids in high school, myself included, I think maybe you, George, it was always, what are you going to do when you leave school? Oh, I'm going to go back to the farm, but I want to go and do this harvest tour first. Now, I kept on saying I was going to do it, never did it. And it is one thing I do regret that I didn't do. I had my gap year on the farm and then doing the bridging course to get into uni. So then I was at uni and then I left uni to come home. So I never really, got out to do that. But
Yeah. No, I'm much the same. I wish I'd done it. I did. Yeah, like it's bucket list sort of thing.
yeah.
You just want to go and see it. So
Yep.
when did you go?
So I went in 2017. So I worked for a farmer in Canada, and basically he contracted down into the States. So did the harvest run from Kansas up.
Yep.
So start south, work north.
Yes, yep. So he didn't go all the way down to Texas like a lot of the crews do. He's just a small setup. So just we took 2 CX8080s down. So
Yeah, okay. Only you hear of like the stories. It's 6, 8, 10 headers.
Yep. So originally I planned to get on one of those big crews. That's
Well, I suppose that's one thing. How did you plan it out? Because that's a lot of people's. They go Google and then, that doesn't look too good, or that looks.
Yeah. So I actually knew someone who had done it already.
Yep.
So chatting with him, and he the guys that he did it with weren't running anymore. So, but he gave me lots of advice, and from there I just did my research. Obviously, you get a lot of YouTube videos on the big guys.
Yeah.
So I applied for some of those. They were shocking at replying to emails.
Yeah.
So eventually, finally got onto a different contractor in Canada, who had already filled his positions, but handed me his number, the number of this other farmer, and from there he said, "Yep, when can you get over here?" sort of thing. But yeah, so it's there's plenty of work over there. So it's you just got to try and know where to work and know where to look. And since being over there, there's actually a lot of forums, like discussions.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And they're actually quite good at, farmers that use them for advertising, as well as, people talking about their experiences. So that's quite handy.
Oh, that's cool. So just get into a group of people and then just ask.
Yeah, just keep on Googling, and you Facebook. There's lots of groups on Facebook that discuss that, and there's like pages that are simply there to advertise
For the
jobs,
role.
these roles. So
Yep.
so it's daunting for a start, but once you start looking into it, there's plenty of spaces.
What about wages wise? Because I have heard that a lot of people, and it might be for the bigger crews, but there's there's not much money. You're there for an experience, boy.
100%. You're over there for the experience. Like I wasn't worried about the money, so obviously, but it's a lot lower than over here.
We've got to get better. Agro-tourism. We've got to get better at that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can start one. I've got the YouTube. Now we've got the podcast, JH and George's Ag Tour Experience.
I might just keep paying a bit more. So best thing about doing the harvest run.
Best thing is going to places that usually you wouldn't visit.
Yeah,
like 100%. The places that I went is not on any holiday map. It's small town America, small town Canada, and going to those places, you meet the nicest people ever. They're always very generous, and some of the countryside. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, off the beaten track, go and have a bit of a look around.
Yeah, like now hopefully I don't get this wrong, but I believe it was the Missouri River that I was harvesting right up against, so cliffs down to the Missouri River. So basically you go out, make your lunch, go up, jump on a harvester and go see the sights.
Sightseeing. That's pretty good.
But so it's you can either pay tens of thousands of dollars to go travel the country, or you can get paid to travel it. So I think I know which one I'd rather.
You might be doing it a bit slower.
Yeah. Well, the first, obviously we've got to get all our gear down there. So to get the gear from Canada down to Kansas, obviously you got to avoid all the interstates.
Yeah.
So it's a 2-day trip down and then a day back to get up. So,
just obviously going from Canada to US, What did you have to do visa wise?
So
Or do they sort that for you?
they sort it for you. So again, this is good advice that you learn from people that have been there.
That's why you're on to tell the hundreds of people that listen.
So there's
All 5 of our fans.
So there's certain visas that your employer has to pay your way to get there.
Right.
And to travel. Obviously, so this is into the States. So Canada, it's pretty easy. Just apply for the visa and police background check, and that's about it.
Yep.
But to the States, there's a few different visas, and so the guy I talked to advised me to get this visa, and I can't remember. It's like H2 or something visa. I can't remember, but it's on the employer's back to get you there. So if I was flying from New Zealand straight to the States, they'd pay for my flights.
Yeah, okay.
Which was quite interesting.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's quite good. But
Yeah.
obviously, because I'm going from Canada to the States,
Yeah.
I'm taking the work vehicles anyway, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
paid the way. So what happened was, got to Canada, and there was actually a couple of us, Kiwi and an Australian, and we.
Oh, the diversity.
Oh yes. Well, there was more Australasians in the crew than there were Canadians. So.
Yeah, I bet.
That was
I
good.
bet.
So we went after we had settled down. We went to Vancouver to the American Embassy, I believe, and just basically went through the visa process there.
Yep.
And simple, just get your photo taken and fingerprints, and that's about it. But yeah, so it's definitely when you talk to these guys, talk to your employers. Obviously, they do it a lot, so they know what you need.
Sort out and get. And,
But yeah, so just keep in mind that there's the one visa that the boss has to pay you.
Yeah, don't get trapped.
Yeah. Another thing actually on that is some of the big crews, they try and get around this. So I'm just trying to, I think it was, I can't remember which big crew I did actually get a reply from. And they said you need to apply for, apply through the university for an apprenticeship or I can't remember what it was. So you're essentially going over on a student visa or something like that. So I think they try and get it around it like that. But
That's a bit sketchy.
That is a
it
bit
was very
dodgy,
sketchy.
yeah.
I got that email. I was like, I think I might move on to the next one.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
That sounds like a lot more, lot more effort than I'm here for. So yeah.
So when you guys, how long was your tour that you were harvesting for?
So I got over there mid-May, and we started off with seeding, and
As you do.
Yep. Unbelievable that we're seeding over there in May and yet harvest earlier than we do in Australia.
Yeah,
So very short growing season over there. But yeah, so we moved down to Kansas at the start of June and worked our way up, and we were finished, I think we finished top of Canada end of October, if I remember correctly, or it might have been middle of October.
That's a pretty long stint.
Yeah. So and crews do longer. Like the crew that I worked for now that they're doing the autumn harvest as well, they obviously go a bit longer.
Right.
So we finished up in Canada. A lot of crews finish up with the cereals and all that and canola, and then they head back down south for corn.
And just
do it again.
round the
Just do it again,
calendar.
Yeah. Yep.
So, obviously you're going to get burnt out doing that. What was the hours? Because I have heard horror stories.
So they were long hours. It depends on what farm you're on. Kansas. So first off, as a lot of people know, the States and Canada, they're very religious. So a lot of farms that you go on, you'll have Sundays off.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's good.
Is the pub open on Sunday?
Yes. Yep.
I like it.
Yeah, priorities.
Yeah, work-life balance.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
perfect.
So I believe there was just the one farm in Colorado that we just kept on going, and that was simply because we needed to get to the next farm.
Yeah.
So we smashed that out really quick, but still found time to go to a baseball game.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So what was the sort of like the time? Did you have extended periods of time off, or was it just work? And then
So it was pretty cruisy for a start. After we got the seed in the ground, we had a bit of time to kill and stuff like that. Just going back to ours, usually my day would start at sort of 7 o'clock and go to 1 o'clock in the morning. So they are really
Jesus.
long hours.
That's not
so,
on.
So
If you're doing that for like 4 months
you get a lot of stuff done.
Oh yeah. But
for minimum wage.
well, it would be below minimum wage if you were back here. But
yeah.
So
Where's my tip?
yeah, exactly. But that was it was broken up quite well with for example, in Montana, I was parked up for a week because we finished. What were we harvesting? I think we must have finished some oats, and then the barley wasn't ready, so we had to wait.
Yep.
So just park up. I was living in a caravan at that point, right next to the pub, close enough to the pub that I was using the pub Wi-Fi. So, I mean,
And that was all.
yeah. But that was good. And then up in Canada, it was basically keep on going until we finish. But again, get every Sunday off. So it was.
I mean, if
wouldn't do
you're
much
going to be
on a
working
Sunday.
7 to 1 and then for 6 days, you'd need the 7th for rest.
Yes, you don't do much on the 7th.
No.
Yeah. But
that blows.
Neither did the big boy. You remember, that's what it's all about.
yeah. But, it was fine. I didn't mind the long hours. I had a good cruise. So
Yeah, well, you're there for the not to sound like you're spruiking the thing, but like you're there for the experience. You're there to harvest, to get it done.
Yep.
You would want to be 21 though.
You wouldn't want to be.
Oh, you'd have a lot of fun if you're 21.
Exactly. Like if you were under 21, say if you're fresh out of school.
Yeah. So
you don't want to go and
so the two youngest Aussies were only 19, but they found their way around that. So it's a bit of a difference going from being able to drink for a year to going over there and
you're not allowed. Yeah,
not allowed.
I suppose in the little country towns, they probably didn't matter much. But when you go to a big one, maybe
it all depended on whether the pub would accept their dodgy license, or if they asked for your passport, then they'd be in trouble.
So for the people wanting to do it at a younger age, where do you get the dodgy license from?
No, where do you get the dodgy passport?
No, I don't know if you want to be caught with that.
Come on.
I think you'd be in a bit more trouble if you're caught with a passport than a license.
Yeah.
That's the federal police.
Especially if you're in on a dodgy visa because they've told you that giving you the
You're on a student working visa.
Yeah. That could be bad news bears.
Yeah. Now, did they provide? They obviously provided the caravan for you.
Yep.
Did they do lunch, dinner, breakfast, all your food, everything? Or
Yep. So everything was provided. So we would obviously look after ourselves for breakfast and make our own lunch. But then
was lunch stuff provided, or you had to
yes,
sort
yeah.
Okay,
All the breakfast and all the food was provided. Apart from obviously if you wanted to go to the pub.
Yeah.
Even the last stop that we made, the boss didn't actually come with us. He gave me his credit card and said, just work whatever magic you need to get, restaurants and fast food to deliver out to the paddock, which was quite expensive for him, but I did it.
But that's before Uber Eats.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think everybody's would have gone that far out. No, I've managed to get either managers or the taxi to bring out food to us.
The taxi?
Yeah, the taxi. So as you can imagine, a taxi trip out to the paddock wouldn't be cheap. So,
just with a couple pizzas.
Yeah. But yeah, so they looked after us, so similar to what we do here, stop at night, have your dinner, except over there it was tailgate dinner, so you stop properly.
Yeah, they get the chairs out.
Yeah, wind down. You have dinner for about half an hour, maybe even longer sometimes.
See, we can't afford to do that here because the moisture's coming in.
Yeah.
Maybe up in the wheat belt the boys can, but
the cost of labour. I'm just thinking, if you've got 10 people parked up, eating dinner for half an hour, 45 minutes, and it drags on to an hour, and thinking,
come on, boys, I'm not paying you to eat.
You've finished.
Yeah. I think they're a bit lax over there when that half an hour's not costing them that much.
Yeah.
So sometimes when the dinner comes out, and we do dinner around about 6 o'clock, and when the dinner comes out, I'm like, I wish the dinner would have maybe been late tonight because we're only going to work to 6:30 anyway because the moisture's crap. And then it turns out that you're eating for 15 minutes, you only harvest for another 15, which is only get to the back of the paddock, and then you're done.
You get one more run up and down, and
it says so often it happens. Or dinner comes and we've just wound all the headers down. Like it's such a different climate.
Yes,
and their sun doesn't set until bloody 10 o'clock anyway.
Yeah, no, really long days up when you get up to Canada. Although when we got up there, it's getting towards autumn, so not as long.
Yeah, starting to fade a bit earlier.
Yeah, starting to get to more like our sunlight here.
So more like 7:30, something like that.
Yeah. Well, maybe not that early. It might be sort of still 8 o'clock or 8:30, but yeah.
Yeah, no wonder you work until 1. Like,
it feels like 9 o'clock.
It makes sense. It's the things like, I watch the YouTubers, the farming YouTubers over there, and they just work ridiculously long hours. And I had the same conversation with George Summers saying, he said, he came in for tea at which was lunch, but at 7 o'clock, and then went back out to work. And it's like, well, I suppose you've got to get your mind set different to us, but yeah, it's dark. It's light over there. They keep working. They're not very good with their family, switching off to go and see family or be with family. Like, yes, the sun's out, but, maybe go see your family instead of working. But
I'd love some of that sunlight. That'd be...
Don't get me wrong. I reckon it'd be awesome to have the sunlight as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we'd be working to 10 o'clock. We knocked off at 4:30 today. So. In our defence, we were pretty hot.
What did it top out at?
we were doing the work in the heat. I think we earned that.
Yeah, we did. We were doing a lot of chainsawing and throwing logs around. So, yeah. She was pretty warm, mate. What were you doing? In your air-conditioned cab doing silage?
No, we haven't started silage yet. So
hay cutting?
No. I'll have you know that I was on a pressure cleaner for 3 hours. I just kept driving machines in, and
You have got apprentices for that. What do you call them? Trainees?
No, there were no... That's the thing, isn't it? There's no trainees when you need them there. No, it was just
What about Rigby? He's a trainee.
He is, but actually... I don't know what he was doing while I was on the pressure cleaner.
Driving machinery.
He was driving machinery.
He was hiding.
Yeah, he found a job to do.
Yeah. Needed to be done.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys.
No, mate. We've got it. We've got it right.
We'll wait until next week. See what happens on YouTube. We'll see.
You can catch up on the week.
I'll tune in.
Yeah. So George asked you what was the best thing. What was the worst thing?
I mean, probably the hours, but
that would do me in.
Yeah.
7 to 1 would do me in.
Yeah, so
like doing that consistently for that long.
Yeah, but you were being paid. So
yeah.
He's not being paid
Not
though,
paid
is he?
that
It's
well,
damn
though.
near like
Yeah.
it's only like what, $10 an hour you're probably getting, or
I was on a monthly, and I can't remember.
That's even
but,
worse.
We did have this conversation over there, and the boss's father walked in, and it was mentioned that this is how farming is. And I mentioned back that I earn in a busy week in Australia, I would earn what they were paying me in a month. So
wow,
yeah,
you were on nothing.
Yeah. One hell of an experience.
Yeah.
You were on.
They got you.
I think it was about $3,000 a month. So
wow.
Yeah.
And it's So definitely there for the experience. I have heard that it's improved. So they are paying a bit better, but I can't really confirm. But yeah,
I don't know about that.
Yeah. So, but I also did just basically the first guy that said, "Do you want to come over?" I said yes. There wasn't a huge amount of negotiation, and but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it's been mentioned, it was for the experience, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
No regrets?
Nah.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Well, one thing I would have liked is to do the autumn harvest as well. So
more.
More.
Your regret was not more.
Not more. Yeah. No, something different. I've never harvested corn, so yeah, it'd be just something different.
It'd be interesting.
I do hear it's not that exciting. Basically, you're staring straight into the cobs all day.
Yeah,
but
and then unloading just constantly.
Yeah. But no, I'm always up for something different.
Oh well, next year, plant some corn.
No, you can plant corn.
You're the one who likes experimenting with other crops and stuff.
We've grown corn. It's it got to knee high, and then the cows loved it. But yeah, no, we might dabble.
You have a dam specifically built for irrigation,
Yes.
so you can do corn.
Yes.
I mean, we've done sunflowers.
Yeah, we've done sunnies.
That was the first niche crop that we did, and that was when we were all together, and that was an experience.
Yeah, they yielded 700 kilos of sunflowers and probably 300 kilos of Rutherglen. So yeah, the tank was crawling, but we'll have a go. If we get a successful corn crop down at Coolum Bidjup, down you come.
How are you going to harvest it? There's no corn heads around here.
No, I have seen some.
You can't. What are you going to strip it? I can assure you, you'd be the first.
Yeah, I reckon we would. No, I did see a Snapchat yesterday from a guy in the US, Canada, and the neighbours were harvesting with draper fronts.
What, corn?
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, it might have been a bit of a disparaging comment made about them, but it was being done. So, look, I'm assured by the fact that I've seen a Snapchat of it being done that we can do it. So we'll give it a red hot crack.
Yeah, right.
If we get it going.
You know what? Now, you two might have already known this, but I only found out the other day that on that giant corn plant that can be damn near 10 feet tall, there's one cob. Yeah. There's one cob of corn.
Only one. I thought there was a
on
couple.
That giant
I thought
plant.
there was a lot.
Yeah, no, I thought there was at least 2 or 3.
Are you sure?
There's hybrids that'll do 2.
Oh.
You'll have to start growing some.
But you know how they feel about hybrids.
Look, I'm gonna. Well, all of it's hybrid, isn't it?
Let's not get into that. But
you have a crack at me for coming in. You have a crack at me for coming in with little bits and pieces and not knowing the whole story. I can't wait to see the comments below this.
Well, I don't know how many American viewers. I can actually pull it up, but I think there's only about 12 of them. So
I'd hope that all 12 of them would know how many corn cobs are on a
one.
Well, apparently there could be 2. There could be
no. So you know how canola, if it gets too dry, it'll abort the top pods.
Yeah,
it aborts the top cob.
What, every single time?
The cob.
No, when it tries. So like I don't know. We don't have wheat that'll try and do 2 heads, but like you've got the one cob, and then the next cob will be above it, but that one will abort.
Oh,
if it's too dry over there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it blew my mind. I had no idea there was only one. Why grow so much of a plant?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it does 12 ton, doesn't it?
It does a couple bushes to a thingamabob.
Ah.
I went onto Kyle's converter. He said go onto Kyle's converter. What our second episode or something?
Yeah.
Couldn't navigate it. It was very confusing.
Oh, no. Okay, so I should clarify. You've actually got to Google specifically. There's a lot of things on Cole's converter.
Yes,
it's a fantastic thing.
I was like, is it mass flow? No.
No. So you've just got to Google Cole's converter, bushels per acre to tons per hectare. And then it'll take you to the right one.
Right.
I made the same mistake the other day, and I'm the one who pointed it on to you. I was like, which one is it?
Yeah.
But we tangent. Gone off on tangent.
Well, that's the whole point of a podcast, isn't it? Yeah.
No, I don't know. What is? We're 10 episodes in and I don't know.
Now, there's, you're talking about how kind they all are over there, which, it's very true from what you hear from people who have been there. Mm-hmm. Do you want to tell the story about the rounds on the bar you used to get?
Yeah, so one of my stops, we got to Montana and we actually split the machines up. So I went and joined a farmer who had his own header and own chaser and everything. He just wanted an extra header.
Yep.
And the rest of the guys went to another farm about an hour away and they finished there very quickly. I was in Montana for, I think, nearly a month. So they were there for a week and then carried on up to Canada and left me behind, said, carry on.
Yeah, okay.
That was the place where I was within spitting distance of the bar. So first night I was at the bar, I was doing my laundry. So just said to the bar maid, I'm just going to quickly nip over and swap my laundry over. I'll be back. Because at that point I hadn't paid for my bill. So I got back and sitting at the bar, and next thing I know, there's a wooden chip in front of me. I was like, what's that for? Oh, old mate over there just bought around for the bar. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Then next thing I know, there's another chip. Oh, someone else bought around. I was like, oh, this is wicked. So essentially, everyone's buying rounds for the bar. So I was like, oh, righty. I got to a point, I was like, no, this is my turn. I've got one or two chips that's still in front of me. I said, right, I'm buying around for a bar. So essentially, if you're a good lad and do buy rounds for the bar, they'll just keep on buying rounds. And basically, it's kind of like, a bunch of mates going to the pub. You take turns in buying rounds. So just first time there, didn't know anyone there, and they just straight up buying rounds for me. And then got to the end of the night and said to the bar maid, look, I still haven't paid for my dinner. I better pay for that. And she said to me, oh, no, the guy that you were chatting to at the start of the night, he paid for your dinner. So I was like, what?
That's awesome.
I literally met him that day and he buys me my dinner. So
I've
very generous.
I've got a question that why do they have the wooden chip system instead of just double parking people and pressuring them into drinking more?
That's the Australian way.
But yeah, that's
They're cheeky this way because and I do still have a wooden chip, if you end up with a wooden chip, that's a drink paid for without a drink even crossing the bar.
It's
so
the
I
old
reckon
gift cards.
I reckon they might make it a bit on top of people, losing these chips. But I guess it's because rounds are bought so often that it is hard to keep up sometime.
Hand the chips out, job's done.
Yeah, exactly. Rather than having 2 beers sitting in front, 3 beers sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
Responsible drinking.
Yeah. Well, it's never happened before, has it? Never been double parked.
No.
Oh no, you're not anymore.
No.
Rightio. Well, I think we'll we do have a question. Shall we listen to our question?
Yeah.
We got a question.
Got a special guest to help us out here. Lighten the workload.
Yeah. So this is the Glass Cage Pod, everybody on Instagram. Go over there and send us some voice messages. With this is our third now, so
That's
it'd be nice to get more.
Good call to action.
Yep. So here we go. This is he says who he's from.
Hey guys, this is Marius from South Africa, down in the Western Cape. Similar area to yours, similar kinds of rotations. I'm curious, you spoke in one of the episodes about waiting for moisture before seeding as opposed to just sort of forcing it in, and the stuff that you put in time doing better. So I was curious, do you have specific start dates for your specific crops? And more or less, when do you start harvest? Out here we believe 20 April to be a good start date for our canola, and around the 1st of May for the barley, and then the wheat straight after that, with a bit of flexibility, but that's the ballpark. So yeah, just curious about what you're doing, and keep up the awesome content.
So when do you start seeding?
No joke, 1st of April.
Yep. So we're the same. We're 10th. Henry always knows when he's got to be back.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's,
So the question there boils down to calendar sowing or condition sowing.
Yes.
I'd say that we generally in this area were calendar sowing as a whole, because people will start dry sowing.
Well, like he said there, it always looks better. Or you get a better germination if you have it in the ground wet, like before it rains.
Yeah. And, we've spoken about it before with our canola. You get the canola in the ground, you get a rain on top, it's always going to be better than waiting and then getting it in after the moisture and then possibly getting a mix and it being uneven. Rule of thumb, 1st of April, we'll try and make a start. Where that is depends on how the season's looking. But
Yeah, and we don't have that frost risk that a lot of the wheat belt and everybody else deals with. So we tend to. That's why we used to be 25th of April. Used to be Anzac Day.
yeah,
But then now it's 10th, and then you guys are even sooner. So
yeah. So how about Canterbury Plains? Like,
Year round, basically. So
God's country, that one.
yeah. So obviously you finish harvest and you're already putting crops in before you finish harvest, actually. So you get your cereals off, and usually you burn your paddocks. Or
Well, you guys have got what, like 100 feet of soil, topsoil?
Yeah. So we got plenty. Usually you're getting either winter feed crops in or maybe grass back in straight away. Then you get your winter cereals. I think they're usually seeded late April, early May. And then, you got your, during March, like we grow clover seed. So that's usually planted through March, or we usually plant that through March.
Never ending.
Yeah, and then come late August, early September, I think it is. Starting to put your spring barley in. So it's
because some of your wheat will have a birthday, like it'll be 12 months in the ground, like the world record stuff.
right. Yeah, I guess it obviously depends on what you grow, but the Graham is the variety that I believe it's still that variety that holds the world record. So that's what we plant in late April, early May.
Yep.
And that is harvested in February. So it's not far
close.
off. Not far off 12 months, but I guess you probably do have longer varieties that would do that.
Yep.
Obviously, ours goes quite a lot more dormant during the winter because it gets colder.
Yep.
You get white stuff.
Yeah, we got white stuff. Not as much white stuff as Canada, but we do get a bit of white stuff. But so it is definitely a longer growing season. And obviously there's other crops that there's some crazy wacky crops. There's crops that take 2 years to mature. You
Yeah, that's
just
that's
go
crazy.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what you get in the land of the Hobbit.
Oh well, we're past the 40-minute mark now, so I reckon we'll probably leave it there. So thank you very much for coming on and being our first ever guest.
You're welcome. If I could just, leave you with one thought, I'd just highly recommend before you settle down, like I have, go do your tours. Whether whether it be the States, Australia, New Zealand, UK, it's just a very good experience.
Solid advice.
Yeah, do it while you can.
Yeah.
Otherwise you'll
'Cause,
regret it.
we both regret it.
Yeah. My dad regrets it as well. He wanted to do it, but
Yeah.
then us kids got in the way.
You cheeky kids.
Yeah. Always spoiling everything. But yeah, thank you.
Nah,
Yeah.
perfect.
We didn't mention it at the top. This episode is we didn't have that week break because my fishing trip got cancelled. So
Oh, such a shame.
yeah, I can feel your empathy.
No, yeah.
So this is our last episode 10, season 1, finished. We're going to have a month off. We're going to record some episodes. So please reach out to us on all the socials, the social or on YouTube, and let us know what you want to hear. And keep sending in voice notes. We'll definitely do, I reckon, another one where I ask a question on Instagram. So if you see that pop up, definitely fire a question at us.
Yeah, get in there.
Yeah, because that was a good episode, I thought.
Yeah.
That was a good back and forth of asking questions.
Nah, it's good fun.
So yeah, we will be back,
Yes, we will.
hopefully. And we'll see you in the next one.
See ya.
See ya.
Thank